Hey, this is Mark, and I am in the Workshop Cafe. I've actually walked by this place many times. This one's in the financial district, and it's this cool cafe where people come to work, and they've got these open stations and then some private, semi-private rooms you can work in, or you can have meetings in. There's flat screens. It's a place to come in and do some work. So I'm like, I need to do a reading from the Golden Present. So here I am to read from the Golden Present Daily Inspirational Readings by Sri Swami Satchidananda. And I'm now caught up here with the day, which is for December 14th. And the topic is Find Out the Secret. All right. The first and foremost reason not to have jealousy is that it affects the person himself or herself. If you are jealous, it affects you physically and mentally. It in no way helps you or anyone else. So at least for your own sake, it is advisable not to have that. Every time you feel that kind of emotion, immediately think, is it not affecting me? And who is the cause of it? Myself? So at least for my own sake, I should stop it. If you are jealous because you see someone else getting something that you are not getting, find out the reason. Why is that person getting all the attention or progressing, growing well in everything? What is the secret of that person's growth? Think of that. Instead of simply feeling jealous, find out his or her secret. Jealousy means that when others are doing well, you feel unhappy about it. If you really look into it, you might find that there is a nice, good attitude in their life. Maybe they are not running after things. They are contented with what they have. They have more faith, more devotion. They put themselves in the position to receive. By thinking of the good qualities of others, you will also develop them, and your life will be so beautiful. Automatically, when you feel that contentment, things will come to you by themselves. People will like you, appreciate you too. Find out the secret. Well, I like that right away, that shifts the action of jealousy into finding out what it is that has allowed that to happen for that person. When you immediately have jealousy, I feel like a wall gets put up, and there's no possibility to figure out the equation for why is it that maybe you're not experiencing that same success. Why is it that they are experiencing? What did they do? What steps did they take? And is it possible that you too could have that same experience? And if not, then there's some other experience in store for you that's going to be different from what they had, but it could still, lead you to a positive place rather than just hitting a wall. And I feel like that's what jealousy can be. And, it is just an emotion. It's not a reality. It's an emotion like, any of the other emotions that we have. And I feel like a way to practice navigating through this is at the very least be able to acknowledge, oh, I'm feeling some jealousy about this person or this situation. And then to go into this other place of action, okay, find out the secret. What is it about that person, or what is it that they did? And I know that's been a particular a kind of movement for me around meeting other entrepreneurs. And when I was recently at this mega success event, seeing people who were doing amazingly well, and I just have joy when I see them. I'm completely in awe of what people are able to accomplish in some of them a relatively short time. And you can just see in them the ambition, but I know now from taking a similar path, it takes a lot of work, and not everybody is cut out for this. It takes someone who's going to recognize that making mistakes, failing at what feels like a failure is actually part of the process of really learning and understanding what creates success. What allows someone to become virtuous. It reminds me of the four locks and the four keys that I just was talking about with a study group a couple nights ago. And it's part of the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. I think it's 133 maybe, book one, and 33rd Sutra or somewhere around there. And, it talks about there are ways for us to relate to one another that will always help us keep our equanimity and keep our peace. And one of them is when we see virtuous people, to greet them with delight, to really feel happy for their virtuous experience or nature or success. And that sends a wave and ripple of that positive energy, rather than if we were to be jealous or have negative feelings. Again, we may have them temporarily, but if we recognize that's going to just set us up for having, difficulty and frustration. But if we know that meeting a virtuous person with delight is going to help us retain our peace, allow us to keep that equanimity so we can focus on what is it that we need to do, then that's the key, right? We don't want to hit a wall and not be able to get through and have our own experience. Just to quickly touch through the locks and keys, because there's 4 of them, I feel like it's always helpful to hear them. And it even is said in the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, if you don't remember any other sutra, this is the one to remember, because it's so profound in allowing us to learn how to navigate through life. And in this book, he says, Patanjali is referencing there are just 4 locks. And there is the lock of the happy person, the lock of the sad person, the lock of the virtuous person, and the lock of the contrary or even wicked person. And the key is to be able to meet those people and to keep our peace and equanimity. Towards the happy people, we greet them with friendliness. So that's the key for the lock of happiness. The key for the lock of someone who is unhappy is to meet them with compassion. The key for the lock of a virtuous person, the key to open our hearts to them is